This is the Sega Multi Mega. Back in the day, this was the equivalent of a PlayStation 5. New revised hardware, super expensive, and almost completely useless. But this is a console I've always wanted. It came out 2 months before my 17th birthday, and since then I've coveted this console. It has been my holy grail of consoles. Now, I paid £70 more than I wanted considering the condition, but now it's here, and having a good look at it, I think it's more like I've paid over £170 considering its condition. In this week's show, I'm going to be restoring this box and the console and trying to figure out how this console would have been packed when it originally left the factory. My name's Mike, and this is the Retro Gamer Boy Show. So here it is, the Multi Mega, my holy grail of holy grails for my Sega collection. And I've never got hold of it because it's always been expensive. And every time I've gone to buy one, I thought, no, that's too expensive. I'll wait for the price to come down. And if you're a collector, you'll know that is a fool's game because this never goes down. It only goes up in price. And so I finally decided to go all in on a fully boxed console, fully boxed, but it's damaged. And I knew it was damaged when I bought it, and I paid £70 more than I wanted to considering it's damaged. And now I've got it, I think, like I said, it's probably £170 more than I should have paid for it. But I think I can restore it, not back to brand new, but into a respectable condition. The other thing I want to do, and the other thing I've got a real stickler for, is I like my consoles to be packed like they were when they originally came out of the factory. And I've not yet seen a Multi Mega that I'm convinced has been packed correctly. I've looked at tons of videos and pictures, and I think people have things in the wrong places, which drives me crazy. I'm a turn it up to 11 level nerd when it comes to Sega. So I'm going to see if I can pack this correctly and fix the box, and then hopefully I'm going to have my Holy Grail console in a great condition. First of all, let's take a look at how damaged this box really is. So first off, it looks like we've got, I don't know, paint splotches all over. It's definitely been water damaged. Don't know if you... That's where the card has got water damage and bowed. And actually you can see the, I don't know if you can see it in this light here, but you can see it's cracked all along here. And again, that's where the water's got in under the card, damaged the card, and then the waterproof or the scratch proof covering that they have on these boxes is cracked with it. So that's the kind of damage I wasn't expecting. And then all the way around, tears. So we've got a big tear here. All of this is ruined. To be fair, this was shown in the photograph, this damage here. This whole corner here, completely damaged, disintegrated. Same with this corner here. It looks like we're missing one of the tabs down there. It is in horrific condition. So I'm going to try restore it. And if you don't like seeing boxes, old original boxes like this, being fixed up, then this is not going to be for you. Skip until you see the final product. You're not going to like what I do to fix this box up. But yeah, so we're going to fix this up. But my first job is going to be figuring out how this box originally came out of the factory. I've got a little bit of information from my contacts at Sega. I know for a fact that none of the consoles shipped with games, and it's only when they got to their destination countries did those countries then pack in the games they wanted. And sometimes that would be distribution deals they had with stores, and sometimes they had a lot of leftover stock. And so they'd use that leftover stock inside this console, and then they'd slap a sticker on it usually. So I know that, but I'm going to go as if there's some games with it, and there's a lot of different options for the kind of combos of games that came with this console. But other than that, I've got to figure out how this actually was put together. Do the controllers go where people put them? Is the power pack and the cables in the right place? All that kind of stuff we're going to be looking at. So let's do that first, and then we'll get on to the restoration of this awesome little console. So first job is to unpack it. You'll notice a load of electronics down here. That's another console project I've got going on at the moment. But yeah, let's get this open. It is so damaged, this. I have no idea I'm going to fix this. Alright. Now, this is partially why I paid so much for it. It's because what I can tell, all the contents that, apart from the games, the contents of the Multi Mega is in here, including all the cardboard inserts. And this stuff here, amazingly, it's just cardboard, but amazingly, this stuff here can be more valuable than that box there. Right, so let's have a look at what we've got. We've got two boxes. We've got the lower box, which contains, I don't know if it should contain all of that, but a load of gubbins here, and then the top box here. So, in here, they've given us the RF cable. Now, in France, you've got a SCART cable. In the rest of Europe, you've got like an AV cable. And in the UK, you got this, the RF unit. Then this came with the manual. Ooh, and the guarantee card. Well, that's a nice surprise. That wasn't shown when I purchased it. That's very cool. That is very good. Multi Mega. And it's multilingual as well, so it looks like, yeah, you open it up and you've got different languages. So they did one massive card for all languages, it looks like. That's very good. I'm very happy about that. Well, this is an even more complete console than I thought. Right, so instruction manual and guarantee card. Instruction manual's a little bit bent over in corners here, but I'm going to iron that down and get that looking good again. What else have we got? Looks like we got something in here. This is not original. I guess this was audio out they used it for. It's a bit rubbish. But yeah, that's definitely something that would not have come with the console. Let's put this to one side. Right, two controllers. I always see people selling Multi Megas with two controllers. It never came with two controllers. And it definitely never came with two 3-button controllers. It came with one 6-button controller, without fail, in every single territory. In Japan, in America, in Brazil, in Europe and the UK, in Australia. One controller, 3-button. And these are horrific. So I'll probably clean these up at some point and then, I don't know, sell them on one of the channels that I belong to, one of the groups, or on eBay, whoever wants two 3-button controllers. I got loads of them. I don't need any more. Right, so they never came with it. So we've got a wire and two controllers that never came with it. We have a power supply. A little bit rough and dirty, but get that cleaned up as well. And then we have the console itself, the Multi Mega. And it's in okay condition, I'd say. It's a bit dirty. It's a couple of little scratches here and there, but I think I can lessen those scratches. I'm going to have to test it to make sure it's working. It's got some dust in where the controller ports are. But for a 30-year-old console, not bad at all. And one thing I didn't realise until recently, as I was trying to figure out what came with this console, is that this thing could be powered by batteries. That is so cool. Unbelievable that it can be powered by batteries. I bet it doesn't last long. But yeah, very cool. I wonder if you can actually use it as like a CD player as you're walking along. And that's why that's in there. I'm going to try that. I'm going to look cool. Yeah, power button. I didn't, again, not owning one, you find these little things. I didn't realise the power button was a little push in, push in, out. But yeah, very, 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 very cool. Very happy to have this in here. But it's in okay condition. I can clean it up and make it look better. I'm going to send it off probably at some point as well to get a deep clean and to get caps replaced and all that kind of jazz. So it's in perfect working order. And that's it. That's everything I got with the console. Right, now let's try figure out how we put this back together and exactly where did everything go. So the first thing I do when I'm trying to figure out how these old console boxes went together is check out videos, look at pictures, and just see what other people have done. Now, for more modern consoles, that's super easy. Like, you can see day one unpacking. So I had a Nintendo 2DS that was unboxed, and I bought all the packaging for it, and I could just watch a video and see how it all went back together again. For these old consoles, it didn't exist. And so I've often found that you see pictures of how people put them back together. I buy the console myself, and then I realize actually bits were in the wrong places. So the Mega CD Mark II, if you watch my unboxing video for that, I figured out how the manual correctly went in, how power packs went in, and a lot of people have their different pieces for the console in the different sections. And like I said, I'm a level 11 nerd when it comes to Sega consoles and packing them back. So the first thing I do is, look at videos, look at pictures, get a good sense of where things are, and then I look at the packaging itself, because Sega give you clues on where things go. And if you know about your Sega consoles, you'll know what clues to look for. And usually it comes down to holes and what holes look like. So let's start off with the top tray and see what we've got. I think this is pretty obvious, this top bit here. This is definitely for the manual. That fits in perfectly there. That's good to know. We've got this bit of card down the side here. Unlikely that that actually went in there. It's the wrong height. You see that, that's the wrong height. And Sega stuff aligned, you know, they were indented and there were spaces for reasons. So I don't think that went in there. That holds something or separates something. And it's got like a, put your finger in to get something out. So don't think that went there. This lifts up. So potentially something could go underneath there, potentially. Then we've got this section here. This has got a tab, so it closes. And it's got this section here. And generally what Sega used to do here was they'd put this down if they were blocking something or wires had to go somewhere. Or it had to hold something in place. So that's why card would be folded there. So we've got a gap down here. And this is a big tell. This is a big tell because this is the same shape as the plug. So this is 100% for plugs. 100% for the plug. And that's already completely different from what everyone else does. It absolutely doesn't go like that because I can't even get my hand behind it to close it. Maybe. Yes, this is it. Look. So, actually, does it, yeah, that must go like that. So that goes in there, I think. Wires, obviously nicer than I put, would go there. And then, that folds weirdly. I'm not completely convinced. I'm sure that goes that way. Because this fold here is the same for the brick. So the brick definitely goes in here. That is the brick. But this is not high enough. So what's going on there? Why is that like that? I'm pretty oh, actually maybe it does go like that. Actually, that looks like it's not supposed to bend there. And then that goes down and that traps the cables. Yeah, so that is power block. So that's where the power block went. Okay, cool. So manual, power block, space underneath possibly, and then we got this area here. I'm not sure about this. I think cables for this. Let's go on to the second tray and see what we've got there. So there's things we know about the second tray. So we 100% know that goes in there. And this card pushes all the way back like that. And you've got a little gap there. There's a little gap, I don't know if you can see it in the camera there, where the front of the console sticks through. Most people were putting their charger in here, and we've just seen there's a space for the charger where it fits nice and snugly, cables and all on the top here. This has got a gap at the top, finger pull area out, and a bit down the side here. Now that could be for cables. That could be for cables, but I've got a sneaky feeling that it's the controller. I am thinking controller cables go through here and then tuck into this bit of cardboard here, and then this gap around the side here is for the side of the controller. Yeah, in fact I'm pretty sure of it. I've got to get the cable a little bit, my cable's a bit fat. I need to get that better wound up. But look, that's for that, isn't it? That is definitely for the controller. 100% that's for the controller. And this is the thing with Sega boxes, you've got to look at the holes. Because that's how you know where things went. That is 100% how that went, wasn't it? That is the controller and the console. And then this has to be the games. Now, it did come with a variety of games, and there's some well-documented ones, and then there's undocumented ones, but there's like a collector's edition that came with Echo and Classics, and what else was it? Silpede, and no, it wasn't Silpede, Solfeast, that double pack there, and Sonic 2, there's that pack, and then there's a Sonic 2, anyway, there's a lot of different packs. I'm going to go for, reach over for some games, I'm going to go for 2 Mega CD games, because that's what most Mega CD products came with. They came with 2 games. I think that's it. And now, where's that little bit of card gone? Where did I put that little bit of card? Here it is, on the floor. I think that went there. It's the same height once laid down as the rest of the box. You got your finger to lift out your game. You move this across, and then you've got your other game. So that's how that must go in. And then if you had a game as well, so let's take a game, Mega R-Type, classic that never came out. If you don't know about Mega R-Type, check out my video. There's a guy making this awesome port of the arcade version over to the Mega Drive. Anyway, now this could, if it was game, this could fit in like that. So if you've got a Mega CD game and a Mega Drive game, which I think was Sonic 2 is the most common pack in, that would go like that. Then I think this space under here held a Mega CD game, a Mega Drive game, then this would have gone over the top. This bit of card here is the divider between the Mega CD and Mega Drive game. Come on, let me get. I'm geeking out massively about this. Hang on, it's a little bit awkward. Hang on, let's have it fully up first, and then it would have been pushed down. So it would have been up when they got it at the factory. Then it would have been pushed down. Does that make sense? I'm not sure that makes sense. It's not tucking it in as easy as I would have hoped. Maybe I've got it in the wrong position. Would this have gone like that? I mean, potentially. I think it's more likely it's gone in like this. Maybe if I put the Mega CD game in, no, that definitely doesn't work. So it's definitely got to be like that, but then that doesn't close. So maybe it wasn't, so that flap there just gave stability. And then maybe this is, this looks more promising. This looks more promising. That looks more promising. So if you've got a Mega Drive game and Mega CD games, Mega CD game, that goes over there, that goes in here. Then you could see you got a Mega Drive game, so you've got your hole to see that you've got a game through there. You got that to come up. That's how that went together. Woohoo! Right, so I think we've pretty much solved, apart from this battery, I know the power battery, the power pack. I know the power pack goes there because we've seen the holes for it. This is a little bit odd, but maybe it's right. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I mean, it's flat, it's not bulbing or anything, so I think that's correct. And then I think these wires went in here. I mean, they would have been wound up better, but I think that goes in there in a nice plastic bag. See-through plastic bag for that one. See-through plastic bag for that one. This one had like a, I thought it's like a thin styrofoam cloth type bag. And this one would have the red don't suffocate yourself bag. So I need to get bag for this, bag for this. I need to create a bag for that, create a bag for that. That is how I'm pretty sure, 99%, and maybe as I'm fixing things up, I'll find other bits. But I'm, 99% sure this is actually how a Multi Mega went together. This is so cool. I love this about collecting, figuring out how stuff went together. Right, on to repairing the actual box and seeing if I can get this thing into a better condition than it already is. So that's taken me about 3 days to complete those repairs. I started off with a pH neutral wipe that I just went over the box with, got rid of some of the surface dirt and some of those paint marks as well. We then separated the box and I ironed it, applied heat with a grease-proof piece of paper. If you're going to do this, make sure you check on a bit of card first or paper that's similar to what you're doing. You could end up damaging your box, so it's really important that you test it out first, get the right heat. After I'd done this, I got some PVA glue. I had it watered down. I think it was like 2 parts PVA to 1 part water. And I used that to fix the separated cards, so the bits that have started to fray, put some strength into the edges and on the corners as well, so that the card could bend. And then where I've got the really deep rips, I used undiluted PVA glue, and that gives it the strength that holds it in place. I also managed to fix the flap as well by separating some old card and applying that to the box and then just fading it in to make it look like it was part of the original box. After this, it comes to the colouring in, the bit that people absolutely hate, or at least some people do. Now, because it's a black box, I use a black whiteboard pen. And I use a whiteboard pen because it is a pigment, not an ink, and that pigment doesn't fade over time. And because when you apply the whiteboard marker, it only sticks in the damaged parts. And then you would have seen in the video, I'm wiping over the top. That's because any pigment that's left on top of the surface, I can wipe off, and so you don't get a discoloration between the bit you've repaired and the fixed bit of box. It's also fiber based, so it nicely gets in there. Now, it doesn't completely cover up the tears and damage in there. It just kind of masks it, and if you look closely, you can still see it's there. And then for the color bits of the box, the purple, I used watercolored pencils and just layered different colors of purple on there so I could match the color. Now again, don't do this if you don't know what you're doing, because it could end up looking like a child's painting. Now, this box was in terrible condition. There's no way I was going to get it looking amazing, but my hope was, could I get it looking okay? Let's take a look at what I've managed to do. I've really enjoyed restoring this box, but the thing I think I've enjoyed the most is actually not what's on the outside here, it's what's inside. It's trying to create a fully complete in-box version of the Sega Multi Mega, making sure that everything that came originally with the console is there and in its right place. I've enjoyed that so much, that kind of discovery, figuring out where things go. And it's why I paid a little bit extra for this console, because all the inside pieces, all the card bits were there. And so it enabled me to then figure out what I was missing and where everything went. So what we're going to do now is unbox the Sega Multi Mega. And like I said, I've enjoyed doing the restoration piece, but this is it. This unboxing is what I've most been looking forward to. So we'll have a look at the top tray first, and then we'll go into the second tray. So the top tray would be this, the instruction manual tray. Now we've got the instruction manual, with its don't suffocate bag on it. Inside we've got the guarantee cards, multilingual ones, and we got the 32X leaflet. Now, from what I can see, these came with a number of different materials. One of them came with like a Multi Mega catalog, another one came with a Mega CD catalog, and some of them came with this, the 32X as well, because of course the 32X had come out at a similar sort of time as this. So there's our paperwork. We also have this, a demo disc. And again, some of these systems, and quite a few of these systems, came with a demo disc, and it was the Soulstar and Battle Corps demo disc. Now this also came out in a magazine. I think it was Sega Mega or Mega Sega, something like that, issue 14. So it did come out on a magazine, but some of these megas, multi-megas, also came with demo discs, and this one was by far the most common one you'd find, especially in the UK and in France. Then we have this. Obviously it's a UK system, so we had the RF cable. In France, like I said, they had the SCART cable, and in the rest of Europe they had the AV cable. So that went down the side there. This bit I'm most proud of. You would have seen when I was trying to figure out where everything went. This unlocked where everything else in the box was. Once I'd figured out where this power pack actually went, and it does go down the side there. All the card fits perfectly around it. We've got the plastic bag. I've also added this. This is a plug shield, goes over the prongs, and you'd find that commonly on the UK Mega Drive, Sega Mega CDs, all those kind of things, they'd have that as well. So that is tray one. We've got the power cable that goes down there. We have RF cable there, demo disc, and all the paperwork. Right, next, tray two. So here's tray two. Now I've gone for this game pack-in. There were a number of different game pack-ins. A common one would have been the 8-game pack-in, which was Road Avenger, Soul Feast, Cobra Command, and the classics. That was relatively common in the UK. I think every single multi-mega came with the classics edition, maybe Soul Feast, but I'm pretty certain there was no multi-mega, even though some people say there was. I'm pretty certain there was no multi-mega that didn't come with a game. I think they all came with at least classics. So like I said, I went for this setup. So we've got classics, remove the card separator here, and there's our classics. And then we've got the 2-disc box set of Soul Feast and Cobra Command. And then we lift this up here, and we have Sonic 2 underneath that. Now this was a variant, but I think it was more sold in Europe. Maybe it was sold over here in the UK. But like I said, these shipped with no games in originally from Japan. They came over to their different territories, and then each territory would fill these games up with either surplus games that they had already, or games that had been big sellers, and they could sell them on because they had surplus stock. Obviously then we've got the controller, the 6-button controller. So happy I figured out where this went. So happy. So obviously this is our bag. We've got the, again, don't suffocate yourself bag. Cable just slotted through there. And I've only got one 6-button controller. This only came with one 6-button controller. I see so many of these being sold with 2 controllers. It never came with 2 controllers, ever. Only one, and it sits in this slot here. And then lastly, we have the Multi Mega itself, and it came in this like polystyrene bag here, and here it is. I finally have a Multi Mega in the collection. It's been a long show this week, but I really wanted to go through the full process of what I do with my game boxes. I don't usually have game boxes that are this badly damaged. This is the worst I've ever had, but I think it looks pretty good. I might upgrade it in the future, but whoever would get this box wouldn't have it in the condition it originally was. And I really enjoyed figuring out how these boxes originally were packed, and then going back and finding all the bits and pieces to complete them. And I'm 99% sure I can say now that this Multi Mega is actually complete in box. That's it, and I'll catch you on the next one.